Hello, how's everybody doing? Can everybody hear me okay? Just checking first of all. Thanks very much for coming to see me talk. Should we have some fun? Let's go for it. My title is Your Performance Marketing is Lazy. And that title actually makes a lot of sense for two reasons. Number one, I do believe your performance marketing is lazy. And number two, my name is actually Liam. And I don't say this to upset you, I say this to excite you, because the world will have you believing that you have no control over your performance marketing performance these days, but it's far from the truth. Now, I'm from the best performance marketing agency in the world. I would claim that. I'm from Impression. And we're obsessed with this idea of evidence into action, this idea of transforming from one to the other. And one of the ways we do this is by challenging best practice. And in my years of marketing, the way that we've been able to get brands ahead is by taking advantage of what I call the edge gap. And that's the chasm between brands that just stick with the playbook and do what they're told by the platforms and brands that innovate beyond that. I know that there are passionate marketers still out there. I believe that that's you. I believe that it's me. And there's a lot more we can be doing. Now, this talk is going to be just a little bit different. Yes, I'm going to be talking about performance marketing. I'm going to be talking about it taking you from a lazy performance marketing team into a passionate performance marketing team like you used to be when you first started marketing. But I'm going to be doing it through the medium of just a normal presentation, really. So for this session, what is different is, whilst presentation best practice is, I'm going to leave you with one thing that is a genius thing you're going to take away. Ha! I'm going to get rid of that. Instead, consider yourselves a canvas. I've got a big bucket of performance marketing paint. I'm going to throw stuff at you and see what sticks, because I actually think you know a lot of the theory already. You've just been brainwashed into doing the same things over again. So my goal here is to reignite the passion you have for marketing. Does that sound okay? Getting some slow nods. If you smile, I'll start smiling more as well. So let's start by looking at creative quality. So the lazy approach to creative is to say, well, let's create one beautiful, unique ad. And then we start optimizing that for click-through rate. But this may have worked. Even 18 months ago, this worked quite well for a lot of brands. But our collective attention spans are declining. I don't need to tell you that. What I will tell you is that everybody blames it on poor little old Gen Z, but it's not the fault of one person. We're the ones that overloaded them with a load of information. Our brains are simply trying to keep up. So because of this, ad fatigue is even more impactful than it used to be. And we also act like Meta is some kind of targeting magician and that our products are the best thing since sliced bread, and all we have to do is upload our perfect ad and all of the different personas will flock towards us. Build it and they will come used to work, it just does not work anymore. So the passionate approach to creative relies on two things. It's creative velocity and creative diversity, and you tie them all together through experimentation. So creative velocity is the speed in which you're creating new ads, and all of the best brands are creating ads at a fast speed. One of their limiting factors for how they can grow their accounts is how fast they are able to create new creative. And obviously, we all know that targeting is dead, right? Everyone knows targeting's dead? Of course it's not. Don't worry, I'm not doing that. Targeting is not dead. It's actually more important than ever. But here's the biggest mistake I see from lazy performance marketing. They mistake algorithms for targeting. I'll say that again. They mistake algorithms for targeting. Just because you can get one ad, serve it to the machine, doesn't mean that you do not need to still do the targeting work. Targeting is marketing 101, as you know. Without it, your ads will barely scratch the surface of the reach that you could possibly get. And the winning brands, they take risks with their creative. So the biggest mistake I see is iteration, but the goal is exploration over iteration. There are some multi-million-dollar amazing brands out there. I see their ads. They go with one perfect ad every quarter. They narrow it down, they narrow it down, they narrow it down, and that is limiting their performance. They see a click-through rate going up. They think we're smashing it. They think the market is just declining, but actually they're not exploring. And the brands that take creative risks are proven to achieve long-term growth. Exploration, not iteration. Brief side note, is anyone aware of this study by Braun and Schwartz about creative testing? Oh, it's delicious. Definitely recommend looking that up. It's Braun and Schwartz. and it's talking about divergent delivery. Basically, the fact is, if you try to test your creative by uploading them into the platforms have inherent bias to the ads that are already performing well. So you could have well-performing creative, you just don't know it. So lazy performance is this idea of perfection, and passionate performance is prioritizing velocity and prioritizing experimentation. With me so far? Nice. Vigorous nods. Signal quality. So we've changed our approach to creative. Let's talk about signal. So this is the data you use to make decisions. Now, the lazy approach is dashboard worship. You've got your perfect GA4 setup, you've got your tracking setup, and your goal is just to increase ROAS and increase ROAS and increase ROAS. But attribution, many brands are still using it to measure pretty much all of their performance marketing. And while attribution works on the basis of correlation, to understand whether your marketing is actually working, you need to use causation. And I know that many brands are already using this, they're just not using it in the right way. Anyone seen this doom loop before by WARC? No, maybe not. So the doom loop is this idea that as you shift to more performance formats, your performance and your overall revenue actually declines. And one of the reasons for this, in my personal experience, is that it's not the performance channels themselves that are leading you to this doom spiral, it's actually the measurement functionality. So how do we reduce our reliance on this doomed attribution? The answer is to develop your own first-party approach to internal measurement, separate to the third-party bias. Who's familiar with media mix modeling? Brilliant. Media mix modeling is great. It looks backwards, and it's able to take all of the data from all of your past media investments, any other variables that you think will impact your revenue, and make recommendations off the back of it. That's one form of measurement, but it absolutely needs to be paired with deep experimentation, because experimentation is the only thing that looks forward. A media mix model will very rarely, if ever, tell you, oh, you should try this new channel. It simply won't do it. So you need experimentation to move forward. But only 8% of marketers actually run incrementality testing on a regular basis. And even worse than that, when I ask people, oh, have you done incrementality testing? They go, yeah, I've done that. And they did it 12 months ago, or they did it 18 months ago, or they did it 24 months ago on brand search versus organic search, and they take that as a given. But the truth is, you have to constantly be incrementality testing. So if you're not incrementality testing right now in any of your campaigns, any of your activity, I'm going to say it. I promised I wouldn't say it, but you're a lazy bum, okay? Sorry, I don't know why I said that. That wasn't in the script. So it's not enough to improve signal quality. You must take action. So it's all well and good me saying, well, you've got your measurement in place. You have to actually take action to that. So you can have a measurement setup that rivals the best in the world, but it means nothing unless you translate that to platform goals. In your platforms, in Google, in TikTok, in Meta, you still need to set efficiency targets. So you need to translate this gold standard into them. And here's a very, very unscientific graph to explain how difficult that actually is. Because you have your first-party incrementality data, you're trying to transform that into platform results. They do not compute. But also, it's a moving target, because your ads don't exist in a platform. If you run ads now, your competitors will change what they do tomorrow. Then you'll change what you do. Then Meta will change how your targeting works. And everything is constantly changing. So you need to constantly be testing. And once you do, you start to rethink your attribution-led habits of where your highest ROI is coming from, because the platforms will often tell you that this is performing really well. Google even will tell you that YouTube prospecting performs absolutely, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, shiitake mushrooms. But it's not. YouTube prospecting is actually one of the most underrated channels when we start running incrementality testing with it. So the lazy signal approach is dashboard worship. All hail the dashboard. You take your ROAS targets and you just try to push them. But the passionate marketers, they develop internal measurement practices. And if you're thinking, well, I've never had to do this before, the world's changed now. You now need to do this to get ahead with your performance marketing. So we've raised the bar for creative and signal. Now let's talk about my favorite. This one is my absolute favorite. And in my experience, this is the one where most people have given up on it. Activation. Now, the lazy approach is, the algorithm knows best. I'll just plug it in, set my ads afly, and everything's good. And obviously, Disco Marky Mark wants to automate all of your campaign targeting and creation by the end of by 2026. I'll believe that when I see it, but that's a topic for another day. But if everyone uses this same technology, this same black box technology, who wins? First mover advantage is definitely real. I mean, I've seen that. I've been working in the industry long enough to know when Google Shopping first came out. And when it first came out, the CPCs were so low, you could sell anything on there. You could have an absolute crap brand, crap website, and you would sell buckets loads. But now it's different. The first mover advantage exists, but it moves away faster. So passionate marketers must do two things really well. And they're not easy to combine, actually. They must first engage with new technologies, which is great. But the second is they need to be skeptical of these new technologies. So they need to love them in once, they need to be in the platform corner, and then on the other side, they need to absolutely be critical at all times. And it's a hard balance, and experimentation is the way forward. Dunning-Kruger effect. Everyone seen a graph like this before? Oh, I got an immediate nod then from a couple of people. They're like, yeah, I know this one. So it's confidence and expertise. And this shows like a period of learning, let's say. So let's say this is where the industry sits right now. We've got to the point where we've got really high confidence in the tools that we're using. This is where I'm putting you, by the way. I'm assuming that you guys are all super, super smart, but you're feeling low on confidence right now because the platforms are constantly telling you, you don't know what you're doing, just leave it to us. So the first thing I'm going to show you is first mover advantage. And here's one of the examples. So I spoke about Google Shopping earlier. We were one of the first agencies to run vehicle ads for one of our clients, and it absolutely transformed their performance overnight. Now, we're fully expecting this to keep going until it doesn't, and that's the first mover advantage in action. We know that this will probably last another year, and then more competitors will enter the market, and then we'll have to do a first mover advantage as well. So it's not enough to be there first, but when you are there first, you can make serious market share gains. I'd say 1 in 3 people are testing betas this quickly. You need to have really good data capabilities to test betas early, by the way, because the platforms don't give you friendly front ends. So let's get a bit more under the hood now. And this is where you start to gain a little bit more confidence that the black box is actually more of a gray color. And digging into things just a little bit more gives you higher confidence. Who's familiar with Meta's CAPI, the conversion API? Yeah, everyone that's been through iOS 14 hell is fully aware of all of this. But the UI only gives you so much information. So if you want to optimize your CAPI, if you want to optimize the metrics that exist within CAPI, such as event match quality, you have to build your own systems in order to do that. And there's only a very, very small number of advertisers in the UK, and actually globally, that are even using Meta's signal quality API, which is the only way to get this data. So we've covered first move, we've covered getting under the hood, and here's my favorite, against the grain. At this point, if this was a movie, Rage Against the Machine would start playing, so if you can have like some sick drums in your head, maybe like a bass solo or something. Let's do it. So the first example is to control the machine. There are parameters that exist within the automated strategies you use that Google, Meta, TikTok tell you not to use. Use them, you can get better efficiency and the same revenue. That one's an easy one. About 1 in 3 advertisers do this kind of stuff. Second, redirect the machine. So you can create custom conversions within DV360 in order to target things a lot more specifically. And in my experience, only about 10% of advertisers are doing this. And then the best one, mislead the machine. I'm going to be very vague here because I don't want to give the game away. But what if the conversion data you send to Google, Meta, TikTok is incorrect on purpose? What if, while everyone else is sending apples, you start to send oranges? And if you're a bit confused, have a little think about it. It's a case study for another day, I think. So, you, the most passionate marketers, high in skill, but low in confidence from all of the AI fear-mongering, you have an opportunity to game the system. So, lazy activation, plug and play, set and forget. Activate with passion, you need to be skeptical, you need to be first, and you need to go under the hood, and ideally against the grain. And I'm sorry, but our time must conclude now. I've really enjoyed looking at all of your faces smiling at me. Your performance marketing lazy, your performance marketing might be lazy, but I don't believe you are. The edge gap is widening. You've got the biggest opportunity. You've got the biggest skills in the room right now. You've been doing this long enough. All of the next gen of marketers are going to grow up only knowing these AI campaign types. So I hope that some of my paint has reached you. So whether you're feeling excited or more hopeless after talking to me, I want to hear from you. I've been Liam on behalf of Impression. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Liam Wade, Performance Director at Impression. Liam, thank you very much.